Let's talk about pentatonics for a minute. And the kind of thing I guess that I've always done when I go to jam with somebody, just trying to improvise, is I've always used the pentatonics as a visualization. I'm not going to jump right in. I'm not going to explain a whole lot. Let's say we're in a key of A. Why the key of A? I don't know. I just picked it at A, B, C, D. It comes first. And so let's say we're playing a key of a blues or rock or whatever. And we want to improvise, and they're playing the key of A. And, you know, we're all familiar with the blues pentatonic that's on the 5th position here. I call it the blues pentatonic that is around what I call formed off the E-type bar chord. Why do I call it the E-type bar chord? Well, there's A, and up here's E. We all played E that way, so what I'm doing, I'm forming the E down here. So if I were playing a G, for instance, on the 3rd fret, I would call that an E-style bar chord. In the G position on the 3rd fret. You know, B of course is here, C is here, and so forth, F, E. And we're all familiar with this pentatonic. And of course the pentatonic that is behind it, same pentatonic, just different position. First of all, let's start with this pentatonic that is around the E bar chord, and you can see here on the little screen that I've got, it's like this. And then you've got, if you want to add the blue note to that, the flatted 3rd, you're going to add those where those green notes are. I made them green because the other notes I use blue for, so that would be, right? Blue notes here, blue notes here. So we got this. And that would be your pentatonic. Let's back it up. I've got a little mask here on this InDesign file that I'm using. So if I were going to play in the 2nd position, that pentatonic, I would probably do, you know, see that? I play the blue note here, or it's up here, either place. But primarily your pentatonic up here is going to be, and down here. Now, we've also got the pentatonic that's below the E-type bar chord, and that's going to be around the this type. I call this the D-type bar chord. So here's your A there, right? I'm playing like I would if I were to play the full chord. It would be like a little D I'm playing there, right? Like this D here. Of course, I typically don't play it that way. I do play this a lot. So there's the pentatonic then in this 7th position. Right? So one of the things that's really kind of cool that I found out sort of early on, just by experimenting around, I drew these little charts like this so I could see where my notes and things were, is that you could do the country pentatonic and the blues pentatonic together. They overlap. What's kind of interesting, of course, is that the blues pentatonic and the country pentatonic are formed exactly the same way. Once again, we're in the key of A. Let's say we're doing a blues. Well, you know, you're going to play typically the blues pentatonic here in the 5th position. The same pentatonic is for the country pentatonic slid back 3 frets. Country pentatonic sounds very major, and it's very, you know, happy sounding. Not necessarily a very nasty sound. The blues pentatonic, of course, is a little more minor sounding, a little more menacing. So what I found out, of course, is that just as this pentatonic is the same as this, well, this pentatonic that's down here is also can be slid back to here. So there is the country pentatonic played in the, really the 4th position, but I call it the 5th position. It's right there at it. Now what's kind of cool is you can see how these things will overlap. And I'm going to turn on the country pentatonic here on my little screen. Let's turn on the country pentatonic and look. Now, I've made the country pentatonic red on these dots here. So you can see now that when the country pentatonic overlaps the blues pentatonic, I get this kind of orange, or this kind of purplish looking dot here. So these are the common notes, these dots right here that are kind of darker. Those are the common notes between the blues pentatonic and the country pentatonic. And of course I still got my blue notes in here. The blue note, or the flatted third, is this green note here. So what that gives us from an improvisational point of view is some pretty sophisticated stuff. Some notes to work with that really sound pretty nice and not just pentatonic-y. So for instance, let's say I play the regular blues pentatonic. Or I play the country pentatonic. Let's say I want to combine those. That gives me these notes. Right? Now, of course, we're not going to play those notes ever when we're playing our licks and stuff in a sequence. But, you know, those are a very nice visual. You know, you got this 4-3-1, 4-3-1. You got every note here, right? You got this one. Now, what's kind of cool is when you start backing up a fret or two here with this little visual here, and you see that you've got these notes above the top here on the 4th fret. See up here where I'm pointing to? And so let's say we wanted to like back some of these notes off and play some cool licks this way. Let's say we're playing in blues, and we're playing some blues, and we're playing the key of A. And I want to combine the two scales. I might do something like this. Now I haven't talked about this position down here, but we can open this thing up so that we can see the little B.B. King type box that's down here below too. But all of a sudden you see you've got, and I'm going to start on the 9th fret down here. Wow, you got a lot of notes. Now what I like to use a lot are these right here. This is the little, what they call B.B. King box. Eric Clapton plays in this a whole lot too. But this, since you've got this little note right here in the middle that you can hammer onto, it sounds really cool. You can do some nice, sophisticated little licks like this. So, yeah, that's very simply there. It was a country and blues pentatonic that I've combined. I'll play that little lick again, and it's not really a lick. It's just me improvising. So as you see, you have all these notes here that you can use, and these boxes, what I'm doing right now, I'm using bits and pieces of the pentatonics and sliding around. You know, as you can see, it's very accessible to do these notes like this in this position. If you start up here, a lot of people use these two notes, then they might slide down into this next pentatonic. A lot of people like to bend into that flatted third there. I like to bend into it and double back onto this major sounding note here that's in the country pentatonic, like this. Nice little lick. You can also start to see when you look at these things here that there are places where the notes are together. See how there's two notes here together, there's two notes here together, two notes here. Let me back this thing back up to the 5th fret again. And we can see right quick, you got two notes here, two notes here, two notes here, two notes here, and here. And you see how they got these two notes things, and you hear a lot of these little good double stops. So like say we wanted to play, so we're playing some blues. And we want to do some double stops. You got this kind of stuff here. This sounds particularly nice, I think. So you got that's kind kind of nice having those little notes there. They're all in that pentatonic. And you can also see that you've got some little crossways notes here. Let's say you want to play this note and this note here, right? That sounds particularly good in blues. You hear it, ZZ Top uses a lot. So, like, you might do. You hear this one a lot in blues. That's right. I'm playing kind of sloppy tonight. I'm kind of trying to do this GoPro thing over my shoulder to give you a little different perspective. I thought it might be handy for people to be able to see the neck of the guitar from the guitar player's perspective. Down here in this B.B. King box, we call it, which is, of course, built around that A again. You know, your flatted third is right here. And if I extend this little illustration a little farther, you can see it down here. There's your green note. See that down on the, let's see, I guess it's the 11th fret. So a lot of people like to stretch this note a lot. So what I've done there, I just kind of backed up. I used nothing but blues, blue note, and country pentatonic notes. So you got... what it really is, it sounds like I'm playing licks, but I'm really not. I'm actually improvising. If I had a little bit of rhythm behind me, you could hear this, but just kind of imagine it in your head. Let's do a little blues. It'd be better if I had my Telecaster. It's kind of freaking me out a little bit. I love the climbs you can get when you're using these pentatonics. This one right here is kind of one of my favorites too, since you got this note and you got this note in between that's going to work. You see here the green note here, your blue note here. You know, you can see right quick you do stuff like this. Right. Play it a little slower. So all I'm doing is playing around in this little 3-area box here, and there's a whole lot of blues you can play. Of course, you're going to play it in G to back it up 3 frets. You're going to play it in B. You're going to go forward 3 frets. And I wish I had a little more access to the neck here, because this other pentatonic is very useful down here too. And you can combine the country and blues pentatonics down here. And so what I'll do is probably bring an electric guitar in and do another tutorial.